So you can edit some bleeps in, because this piece of shit sucks, dude. I'm so over this.
Banks built, protected by AMSOIL, with support from RoadsterShop and Nitto.
As much as I love Transu's original render of the dump bed, the more I get into it, the less I like it. GM did not design it to come apart in pieces. You'll see what I mean. I've been looking at the back of this guy for about an hour since I put it on the table, trying to figure out what the hell is going on back here. I mean, you can see here just the nightmare of trying to take out the rear U channel. I've got to continue this split all the way through this assembly and out to the back, but I didn't want to just start cutting stuff, so I'm gonna try and take off this top overlay panel. There's a couple of spot welds down both sides, try to peel it back and see what I'm working with. I'm gonna crack that open first, and then I've got that parting line that I prepped yesterday all the way along the bedside, including these guys. I gotta prep those. Then we come up to the front. It's a little simpler over here, to where I'm essentially just gonna continue that body line. You can see all the way up that front cap here, so that when the rest of it's split, this will split along with it. And hopefully here pretty soon, I will have two pieces to each one the bedside. I hope. So you can edit some bleeps in, because this piece of shit sucks, dude. I'm so over this. If I keep going, I'm just gonna get impatient and damage something I don't want to damage. And I've cut enough spot welds for one day, blown through both seams with all these. Yeah, that's the look right there. That looks like a spot weld right there. We've come this far.
So there's something here.
I clearly didn't care about accuracy with these, but I don't blame them. It's an assembly line.
I think this one was welded at like Friday afternoon.
Yeah, this is a Friday at 3:58.
I mean, he knows they're going to grind them all off, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Right?
liquid lunch and before a 3-day weekend. There's a Pabst or a Schlitz.
Oh, Schlitz more liquor. So, how's it going today? This is where we're at. Last time you were here. Right now, we've got the core support cover done. We added some beads in it where the bolts are to mount, to match what was stock. Just give it a little bit of a stock look and stiffen up that flange. And then it goes around, it just hems over the backside. Since we got the intake tubes from Eric, we were able to mount them, get them fit, and then made the top cover to come down. And it just kind of goes around, rolls under, and then it has a flange that just kind of kicks back a little bit. The opening's all done to get air through. We added a 45-degree angle on it just to give it a nice clean look. We ran the same beads that we were putting in the tubs and that we have onto the firewall. So that pretty much covers this piece. We need to do a little bit more trimming here once we get this front piece in. This tub's done, and when it's all cleaned up, we got the beach sharpened. We just need to clean it up a little bit more on the outside. And this is what we were working with. So once we ran the Pullmax die, the Pullmax dies are ran, set up to just roll over radiuses. The problem is we went across a radius at an angle through a transition. So what we have here is our Pullmax die. It's kind of hard to, there it is. It leaves this hard edge here. And the die itself actually has to run straight and square out. So we hand chisel the angles into the beads and then hammer out the highs and move the lows, which is what we have on this side here. So you can kind of see we started, there's still a bunch of lows. This is the blue stuff is called a dicum. It's a layout spray. We use it as like a guide coat. So right now I'm over on this side and we're pretty much just leveling it out all the way around, and I'll come across the top all the way down, and then we'll come across and clean up the bottom like we did on the other tub. And then once this side's done, I'll go over to this side and start working out a lot of these highs. And then we still have the triangle like gussets to add into this tub, which we'll add in once we're all done with the rest of this to match what is on the back of this one right here. And we still need to fit this in here and get this installed. And we gotta cut it out for the air box back here and get that guy sitting in there properly and fit in. So as you can see, the firewall and the radiator core support cover are nice and clean. They have a good finish to them. Being this close to the beach, we're less than a mile away. Your hands sometimes are very acidic, and so we get a lot of rust on the panels. You can kind of see how this one still has it. The chassis of the frame's getting it. But once we're done with the panel and we get it all cleaned up, I like to do a final brush pass, and then we'll put a little bit of an oil, kind of penetrating oil on it that wipes off real easy with acetone. So it's painter friendly, but it prevents it from rusting here. And at least with the oil on it, we get about 6 months of protection on it without it rusting. But like I said, the stuff that wasn't coated with it, that we never put any on, like you can see on the suspension on the RoadsterShop stuff, it just starts to go because we're so close to the beach. All right, so that's where we're at. Get out of here.
Thankfully, Jay was able to help me out, and we've got this thing damn near all cut out. You can see I Swiss cheesed it. A lot of these didn't want to break free. I had to end up cutting all the way through. I've got 4 more, so I can take out these little pockets, and then beyond the flange, all I really need to do is continue my bodyline cut through these end caps here. So these encapsulate both sides of the bedside, and so I got to continue that cut up all the way through, and maybe even cut this guy out completely, continue that bodyline cut, and then we can go in and actually try to split this thing. Last step on the bedsides, I've got the 2 end pieces cut through, the body line is cut all the way through. I believe I hit all the spot welds, so we're kind of just barely hanging on by this flange here, and it's ready to split, but Eric and I have to be very careful because I'm now realizing just how rusty it is down here. So if we split it in the wrong spot or try to pry it on a spot where a spot weld isn't completely cut through, we could potentially knock off that flange. And that's one more thing for Sean to do with very little time to do it. So very carefully, we're gonna try to split this thing in half.
Looks like we're getting into crunch time. Lockshaw is supposed to be unveiled in AMSOIL's booth at the SEMA show. How are we going to pull it off? Like and subscribe to find out.